Ugly Duckling. Once there was a duck, female duck, and she had eggs, and she, of course, lay on the eggs until the eggs were ready to hatch. One day, crack, crack, suddenly the eggs started to hatch, and out came white, furry, pretty and cute little creatures, little ducklings. From the last egg came a duckling of a different color, kind of gray, big, the egg was big, and ugly. Mother didn't know what to make of this duckling, but she loved the duckling anyway, just like the others. Then, soon thereafter, the mother duck took her new ducklings to the farmyard. There, the chickens and the geese and the other ducks laughed at the ugly duckling a lot. Before long, the brothers and sisters of the ugly duckling were laughing at him too. And although Mother tried to protect him, sometimes other ducks would even bite him on the neck and laugh at him. In short, every day was miserable for this poor creature. Every day, laughter, mocking, ridicule, scorn, a bitter life. Finally, the ugly duckling decided to run away, or fly away. So he flew away. He landed where there was a pond. There, some other ducks were playing, some wild geese. Wild geese landed. The ugly duck expected to be mistreated again, but finally he came out, and the wild geese didn't have time to be kind or unkind, because suddenly some men came along with their dogs, hunters, and so the wild geese hid or flew away, and the ugly duckling hid too. This is the most interesting part of the story, really, because how would the wild geese have treated the ugly duckling? We don't know. Just then, after the men had disappeared, the ugly duckling looked into the sky and saw white birds with long, long necks flying through the air, high up in the sky, I guess. The sight was so beautiful to the ugly duckling that he almost wept. He didn't understand why. He was so moved. But then winter was coming. The geese went away for winter. Apparently the swans did too. But the ugly duckling wasn't able to fly that far yet, I guess. So he stayed by the pond. Just ate whatever he could and enjoyed playing in the water, enjoyed diving among the reeds in the water. One wandered into a farmyard, into a hut in the woods apparently. An old woman was there. She had a hen and a cat. She took the ugly duckling in, thinking she would fatten him and sell him at the marketplace. But life wasn't good there. Although he was warm inside, he wanted to be outside. He wanted to be in the water. So after a while, he left there. He returned to his pond. It was winter. So one morning when he woke up, he found that his feet were frozen in the lake. Fortunately, a kind farmer came by, cracked the ice, and released the wild duckling and took him home. There, his family played with the duckling a little bit, but the duckling was very unlucky, as we have seen. He knocked over a pail of milk. He was alarmed and afraid, I guess, or nervous. Instead, he tripped over the butter, and he ruined something else. In short, terrible time, and the mother, the farmer's wife, was so angry that she chased him away. But he didn't really want to stay there anyway. So, back to the pond, he made a nest for himself in which he could stay a little bit warm, and spent a miserable, miserable winter, cold, alone, just barely surviving. When spring came at the pond, one day I guess he woke up, and he looked out of the reeds by the lake, and there were 3 of these beautiful creatures that he had seen in the sky, with the long, long necks. They were swans, of course. And so he was afraid to approach them, because he thought, once again, just like in his whole life, he would be laughed at and scorned and bitten or whatever. But finally he lowered his head and floated out among them. His surprise was huge, because suddenly there was a 4th swan. The 4th swan was he. He was a swan, for God's sake. He was looking at himself, at his own reflection in the water. During that long, harsh winter, he had become a full-fledged swan. It turns out that he wasn't a duckling after all, or a duck. He was a swan. And baby swans are, I think, not white, and don't look very much like they do when they become fully grown, beautiful white creatures with long, graceful necks, creatures whom we think of as beautiful anyway. Really, the whole story raises the question, what is beauty? Why do we think this beautiful and this not? And also how cruel we can be to someone who's different or not pretty, not beautiful.